Harlan Stonecipher, Chairman and CEO of Prepaid Legal Services, joining us.
Mr. Stonecipher, I'm going to give you $16 a month. And what are you going to do for me?
I'm going to give you unlimited access to one of the best law firms in America for you and your entire family, Bill.
Now to a story that may surprise you just a bit. It is called Legal Shield Card. Think of it as sort of a legal insurance for anybody who is detained or arrested by police. More than 79,000 of the policies have been sold nationally since last year. Many of those buying the insurance are minorities. They're concerned about being unfairly targeted or profiled by police. Harlan Stonecipher is founder of Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated. He's joining us live from Oklahoma City this morning. Thanks very much for being with us. Explain how this insurance works.
Well, Greg, the Legal Shield is really a part of our overall prepaid legal service program. So what we're doing is just giving people the ability to have access to lawyers. You know, legal fees are very expensive today. The top 10% in America can afford lawyers. The bottom 10% have access to the public defender. But middle-income Americans, and that's where most of us are, they don't know lawyers, are intimidated by lawyers, and concerned about what it costs. So we've designed a program that allows these people to have access to lawyers. Of course, that's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. But then we came up with the Legal Shield Card, which gives them access 24 hours a day in the event that they might have a problem. They might be stopped, they might be questioned or detained, or even to be threatened to be arrested. Then they'd have access on a 24-hour basis to a lawyer.
Now, does it just pay your legal services if you're a suspect or a defendant in a criminal case, or what if you're sued in a civil case?
No, it's designed really to help those people who are sued in a civil case. The Legal Shield Card is the only thing that we have that will help you, particularly in that area. But it just gives you that level playing field. But the membership is designed to give you the ability just to talk to a law firm, to talk to a lawyer. For example, you have a 1-800 number. Call them anytime you like about anything. It may be having a document reviewed. It might be having your will done. All of that's covered under your prepaid membership.
So a person who is a member, and let's put this on the screen, has a little card, and here's what the card says. This person is a member of the Legal Shield program, has 24-hour access to legal representation. Here's the critical part. To any law enforcement officer or security personnel, if it is your intention to question, detain, or arrest me, please allow me to call an attorney immediately. These things are selling like hotcakes in places like New York, where African Americans, for example, and other minorities are arguably unfairly profiled and targeted by police. True?
Well, Greg, that's true, but it's not just minorities. It's all over the United States. It's middle-income Americans. I think everybody is concerned. You know, we've heard the term DWB, and that stands for driving while black, but it can also be driving while broke. If we're just driving an old beat-up car and it has a particular look to it, we might get stopped. It can be driving while a teenager and driving a particular type of car, or just driving while a woman. So it's not just minorities, but certainly minorities are very, very aware, and I think, as Tony Brown has said, you don't have to explain it to the minorities, but many other people of other ethnic backgrounds also are prepaid legal members and also have the legal.
We're completely out of time, but what is it, $13.95 a month?
$13.95 in New York, and in other states about $16 a month.
Okay. Harlan Stonecipher, thanks very much. Interesting.
This particular time we were on our way out of town going on a business trip, and no sooner than we got to the airport, got a phone call 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, a hysterical teenager shouting that the security was following her out of the mall, and that they came up upon her, snatched her purse, took her purse, dumped it, and accused her of shoplifting. And she had nothing in her purse. She was hysterical and frantic, humiliated in front of everybody in the mall, so she calls me and she's yelling and hollering. I'm telling her to calm down. There's nothing I can do. Call your attorneys. And that she had her legal shield in her pocket. And so at that time, we finally got her to call the attorneys. She called them. They calmed her down. They talked to the security at the mall, and they walked her to her car. And they were very apologetic.
I got a call one night about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. A young man, he was about 23, 24 years old. He'd been stopped by the police because he had neon running lights on his car. So I took the call and I ran down the hall, so I didn't wake up my wife. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. And he said, look, they've stopped me for neon running lights. They want to search my car. And I said to him, okay, have you been drinking? He said, no. I said, are there drugs in the car? He said, no. but he was very nervous, and as an attorney, the first thing you don't want to do is consent to a warrantless search, to a search without probable cause. So I said to him, I said, okay, let me talk to the officer. So he hands the phone to the officer, and I said, officer, you've stopped this young man for neon running lights. He goes, yeah. I said, that's illegal? He said, where did you go to law school? You don't know that? I said, look, when I went to law school, they taught me about important things like contracts and murder. I said, now you tell me the probable cause for searching this car, for giving him a field sobriety test, for giving him the breathalyzer. And he said, look, I have the right to do this. I stopped him. I suspect it. I said, then good. Then you tell me how you're going to respond to the civil rights case we're going to file after the warrantless search. This is a violation of his constitutional rights. I said, now give me back the phone and let me instruct my client. So I got the kid on the phone. He was a young man. He was terrified. I said to him, look, I have already told the officer I'm not consenting to the search, but you have to be the one to tell him that you're not going to consent to the search, you're not going to take a field sobriety test, and you're not going to take the breathalyzer. At that point, the young man sounded kind of distracted, and I heard him say, thank you. And I said, what's going on? He said, the cop just gave me back my license. He's walking back to his squad car.